Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shante Shante Shante. Samasta Janakalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram. With Bhagavan's grace and Puja Gurudev's blessings, today we will inquire on the fire of desire. So today's topic is very interesting because it's something that we deal with every single day of our lives. And it is actually something that can get us out of all of our lives. So it's a very important topic for us to explore and to dig deeper into. First point is that when we talk about desire, what is desire? Desire is nothing but a thought. Desire is a thought. And this desire is what kind of thought? The thought of the nature that I want. So when we have a kind of thought of the nature of I want, that is called desire. Now, because the desire is a thought, desire belongs to the mind. It belongs to the antakarana. Therefore, it is the dharma of the antakarana or the mind, intellect, equipment, and not of Atma. So this desire belongs to my mind and not to the self. So that's the first thing that I have to understand is that if I have a desire, who has that desire? It's the mind that has that desire. And how do I know it's the mind that has that desire? Very simple, effective technique given in Atma Bodha, which we call Anvaya Vyatireka, that when the mind is there, then all kinds of thoughts creep in, desires creep in. When the mind is not there, it's like in deep sleep, then I don't have any desire. So when the mind is, desires arise, joy arises, sorrow arises, all different kinds of thoughts arise when the mind is. But when the mind is not, desires are not there. Therefore, desire is not my inherent nature, it's my incidental nature. It comes into being when my mind comes to being. So the desire per se belongs to the mind and it does not belong to the self. So it is something that belongs to the mind. It's a thought of the mind. It's a thought of the nature of I want, and therefore it has nothing to do with me. Now, if we are clear about this and we are able to absorb this, then there's no need to go forward. We're done here, right? Because this desire is coming, it's not me, it's not my dharma, and we're done. But the problem is we're not done. We're not done because we still feel this desire. We still feel this itch. So now let us inquire into how does desire come? From where does this desire, this wanting come? Desire comes because we see joy in something. It comes because we see, hey, there's something that's amazing, I want it. Yesterday was Makara Sankranti, Pongal, Lohri, Vishu, and I want to eat Pongal because it's so tasty. I want to celebrate Makara Sankranti with everybody because it's so wonderful. I want this COVID thing to end so I can go see all my friends, physically right in front of my face. Or I want to open OMKARA ashram. It's new. It just got inaugurated very recently. I want to open up the ashram. And all of these thoughts come and we desire things because we see happiness in that. We will never desire something that makes us sad. Let me eat this kind of food because it makes me sad. Let me hang out with this person because this person makes me really sad. Let me watch this Vedanta talk on YouTube because it makes me sad. So we're not desiring anything that's making us sad. We're desiring something because we see happiness in it. We see happiness, we have that thought, it's going to make me happy, therefore I want it. And that thought, where we superimpose happiness on an object, on an experience, on a person, that particular thought is called Shobhana Adhyasa. It's the superimposition of happiness in something. And when I superimpose happiness in something, then I want it. Now we go a little bit deeper. Why did I superimpose happiness there? Why did I see happiness in that particular object or person or thing? Why is it? Why? Because it matched my vasanas, because it matched the kind of vasanas that I have. So I saw happiness in that. My particular vasanas are for devotional music, so I will see happiness in that. But somebody's vasanas may be for rock music, so they will see happiness in that. Yes, we can say it's our vasanas. That's why we are seeing joy in certain things. But even a little bit deeper, why am I seeing joy in that thing? Because I take that thing to be real. I take this entire world of names and forms to be real. I take this entire world of names and forms to be separate from me. So there is this world, it's very real, it's existing, and it's separate from me. Therefore, I see happiness there and I want it. So we take this world to be separate. We take this world to be real. And that is called Dvaita Satyatva. We take it to be real. If, for example, for ourselves, would we ever want our own hands? If I ask you, do you want your hand? You will think I'm crazy. Do you want your own head? No. Do you want your own stomach? No, because you already have it. The same way in Vedanta, when we get deeper, this whole world is actually superimposed on us. This whole world is in us. We are the substratum of the whole world, and yet we want it. We take it to be real. We take it to be something else. We take it to be something outside. And that's why we start seeing joy in it. I'll give you an example so that you can understand a little bit better. Let us say we were all eating in the ashram, and in that, sometimes there is a basket of fruits. And there's a basket of fruits, and there's an apple, and there's a banana, and there's orange, and there's grapes, and there's lots of discussion. Which prasad do you want? Do you want the apple? Do you want the grapes? Do you want the banana? And no, I don't want banana because we already have banana at home. I want the apple because my daughter or son likes apple. Give me the orange. So much discussion about what you want with that plate of fruit. But what if that plate of fruit was plastic? And sometimes in different places that plate of fruit is plastic, but it looks very real. What if it was plastic? Will there be discussion of, I want this banana, or I want this apple, or I want this orange? No, it's plastic. I don't want it. Right? In the same way, for Jnani, this world is an illusion. I don't want it. But if this world is very real, then I'm going to want it. So that Shobhana Adhyasa, or that superimposition of happiness, stems from Dvaita Satyatva. I give reality to all of these names and forms that exist in the world. And why do I do that? Why do I give reality to this world? Because Advaita Atma Ajnana. I am ignorant of my real nature. I'm ignorant. I don't know that I am full. I don't know that I'm complete. I don't know that I'm Satchit Ananda Atma. Therefore, I give it and think it's different from me, think it's apart from me. And this is how desire comes. So desire stems from ignorance. Because of ignorance, I take the world to be very real. Because I take the world to be very real and different from me, that it's different from me, it's separately existing from me, I want it. I see that I'm incomplete, I see happiness there, and therefore I want it. That's how that thought, I want, comes. But if this whole world is like plastic fruit, that thought will never come. Now, so we've seen how that thought comes. What does it do? What is the effect? We've seen the cause of desire. What is the effect of the desire? When that thought comes, what happens? When desire comes, it pushes us into action. We get pushed into one action after another action after another action. And in fact, what we do every day is nothing but act for our desire to be happy, to be complete. It pushes us out in the world to do this, to do that, to have a huge to-do list, to make so many accomplishments. It's actually such a mad thing, Gurudev says, because it's all madness. We're going out there to act, to pursue what we already are. So it pushes us out into action, karma. And then when it pushes us out into action, what happens? Karma phala. We will get the results of those actions. Any action that we do, we will get the result. If we don't get it in this life, we will get it in another life, but we will get it. Definitely we will get it. There's absolutely no escape from it. So karma phala happens. We have to experience the result of the action. What is the result of the action? It is a body. It's a birth, new birth. Every desire signifies a new birth because I wanted it, I worked for it, I will have to experience it, and now I will have to go through it. I will have to take birth to go through it. Either a birth of a new experience, birth of a new body, but I will have to go through it. It says, I'm going to read to you one mantra from Mundaka Upanishad, which says this very, very beautifully. It says, Kamanya kamayate manyamanaha sakamabhirjayate tatra tatra paryapta kamasya kritatmanastu ihaiva sarve praviliyanti kamaha. It says, Yaha Kaman, the one who objects of desires, Kamayate, the one who keeps desiring all these objects of desires, whatever they may be, people, experiences, things, places. Manyamanaha, not only do they desire them, manyamana, their whole mind is just occupied by that desire. It's taken away by that desire. And it says, Saha kamabihi jayate tatra tatra. They are carried on to different births after births after births because of their desire. Their desire is the nimitta for birth after birth after birth, getting carried again and again into various births. But then it says, Paryapta kamasya, of one who's ever full, ever fulfilled, kritatmana, one who is content. Iha eva, here in this world, sarve praviliyante, all their desires go away. To the one who's content, the desires leave him or her. They just go away. But to the one who seeks desires, they'll have to go from birth to birth to birth to experience it. So, though desires are different kinds, some of them are passing, just passing desires. Oh, I want that, but no, I really don't want that. Or sometimes it just comes all of a sudden and then it goes away. But there's some that really stay there, that become strong, that take hold of us. Unfortunately, we have to go through it, whether we like it or not. When Dhruva was doing his tapasya, he was doing his tapasya in Srimad Bhagavata so that he could get a pada, he could get a place amongst the stars. And when Bhagavan came to him, he didn't want that anymore. He didn't want this pada, this place amongst the stars, amongst the heavens. He didn't want that anymore. But Bhagavan said, because you desired it, sorry, you have to get it. Is when we don't want it anymore, we do get what we desired. Because we did desire it at some point in time, so then it will come. Too bad. We put out that strong thought, and therefore it will come. So this desire is a nimitta. It's a nimitta, it's a cause for birth and birth and birth again and again. This is what it does. Not the effect of desire, but also desire takes away all of our attention. It takes away all of our attention. Why is it that people cannot sit down in contemplation? What is the sole reason that's taking their mind away from the self or from Bhagavan? It's desire. I want to do that. When can I do that? When will this end? When can we go here? When can we go there? That's where the mind's reveling. It revels in that desire. So it takes away all of our attention from what is important. Not only that, but it takes away my time and my energy. In the Bhagavad Gita Bhashya, it says, imagine if all of our time, energy, and effort that we put into the world, we put towards God. Imagine. We would have gotten moksha by now. Isn't it? Same effort, same time, same commitment that we put to the world, if we had put towards God, we would have been free. So this desire, it takes me away from my goal. It distracts me from my goal. Instead of thinking of Bhagavan, instead of thinking about self-realization, I'm thinking about my desire. That's where my mind's going. So it takes my mind away, it distracts me, it's the cause of birth and birth and birth again and again. And what else? This desire also, it doesn't come alone. It comes with its gang. Desires come with its gang. Six, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. Huh? How does it come with its gang of six? This kama, this desire comes. And we're in for a ride. Because if First of all, that desire causes moha. It deludes us. It deludes us from what's the most important goal. It takes us away from the most important goal. If we are going this way, it takes us that way. It deludes us into thinking that it is more important. It deludes us into thinking that that particular thing can give us happiness. It deludes us in thinking that that particular thing can give us peace. So first, that desire causes moha. It absolutely deludes us. Then what happens? Two paths now. Sometimes our desires are fulfilled according to how we wanted it to be fulfilled. They're fulfilled. If they're fulfilled, we have to be careful. Why? Lobha kicks in. Greed. I got it. Now I want more. Now you give me more and more and more and more. And the fire of desire is burning and burning for more and more. And what happens with greed? We don't know how to stop. Isn't it? One chip from the daba and you cannot stop eating, isn't it? We eat and eat and eat and eat. Cannot stop. Lobha. What happens if the desire is fulfilled? Mada, pride. I become so proud. I got it. So see, I got it. You didn't get it. I'm better than you. I'm greater than you. I'm more amazing than you. This sense of pride creeps in if we get our desires fulfilled. Not enough. If the desire doesn't get fulfilled, then what happens? Anger. I get so angry. I didn't get it. I didn't get it. I worked so hard. I did so much. I didn't get exactly what I wanted. I'm so annoyed. And that anger is nothing but an obstruction between me and my desire. What's worse? I didn't get it, but somebody else got it. Matsarya, jealousy. That's the worst. I didn't get it. Okay, if I didn't get it, nobody else should get it. But why should somebody else get it? Then I become so jealous of that person, of that being. How come they're rising and I'm not? And with this, the whole karma takes over our lives. So we have seen desire, we have seen how it comes, through what way it comes, what is the cause of it. We've seen the effect of it and what it can do to one's life. Now, the question is, what do we do with this desire? You know, it has a cause, it has an effect, and it does all of these kinds of things. What do I do with this desire? What is my journey? So, how our journey starts is like this. We know that desires, maybe we have those who have studied Bhaja Govindam. In Gurudev's commentary, you can see that desires come in mostly three categories. What are they? Putreshana, Vitteshana, and Lokeshana. So we call this the three Eshanas. Eshana Traya. Putreshana means the desire for progeny, the desire for pleasure, the desire for relationships, the desire to be loved and to love somebody. That is called Putreshana. That is one type of desire. Another desire that comes is called Vitteshana, the desire for wealth and power, the desire to make a lot of money, to have comfort, to have luxury, to have such precious things around us, you know, to go on fancy vacations and all of that, cruises. That's called Vitteshana. Then we have a subtler desire called Lokeshana, which is the desire for name, the desire for fame, the desire to be respected, honored, acknowledged, the desire to have a following, the desire to be appreciated. This also is a subtle desire that comes in everyone's life. So we have Putreshana, Vitteshana, and Lokeshana. And how it starts off is we come to a place where we have those desires. We cannot deny they're there. In the beginning, sometimes we fulfill those desires with adharmic means. Adharmic means. So our Shastra is saying, look, if you have a desire, it's okay. It's okay because we will teach you how to manage the desires. And that's what our Shastra teaches us. How to manage our desires to eventually overcome all of our desires. So the first step in this desire management program, we say, is to fulfill our desires, illegitimate means of fulfilling them. For example, for putreshna, or the desire for progeny, someone might decide to elope. Someone might decide to, get married without seeking blessings from their parents, or have multiple relationships at one time, or just doing fulfilling that particular desire through adharma. Sometimes that may happen, that people do it. Or sometimes there's desire for wealth, and people fulfill that desire through adharma, through cheating on their taxes, or lying about their products in their company to make more money, or paying someone off so that they keep quiet. All of these practices are because people want more wealth and more power, but they do it through adharmic means. And this is seen every day and everywhere. We all see it right in our faces, right? Then also, with the lokeshana is also through adharmic means, that people want to get name and fame by how? By, now you can buy, I think, likes on Facebook. You buy likes on Facebook, or you pay people so that they support you, or what happens is you put people down so you go up, you make people look bad, create kind of stories and controversies so that you shine out better. People do all these kinds of things, right? So there is the desire, but it's fulfilling it through adharmic means. So our Shastra says, give this up. The first step to managing your desires is give up fulfilling them through adharmic means. Let that go, because we will keep on being disturbed, and we will disturb so many people around us. Then the second thing the Shastra says is, okay, now if we're able to slowly let that go, take those desires and fulfill them through dharmic means. So if there is this desire to have a family, to be in a relationship, to have children, fine, but do it through dharmic means. Get married, go through the rituals, take the blessings of everyone in the family, make sure everything is okay, make sure everyone is secure. You fulfill it, you do it. The desire to make money, you do it, but in an honest way where everybody is earning properly through the right means. There's no crookedness, there's no lies. There's an actual process and procedure and system to be followed, and everyone in the company is taken into account. So make money, do it, it's fine, but honesty, with an honest living. And one wants name and fame, no problem. That's completely okay. If that's what you want to go for, do it dharmically then. Be known for something good, for something amazing, not for some like scheme, bad scheme that you did. Or sometimes people also, they do things even for bad publicity. So be known for something that you've done good, that you've done well. So earn it based on your own merits. Now, after this kind of point, when a person starts leading their life this way, they say, this is kind of a good life, but I want more. I wish to be or to have a more fulfilling life, to reach out to other people, to give more. For a while, a certain kind of feeling stems forth. And so the Shastra says, now you fulfilled your desires through dharmic means, but not only through dharmic means I want you to fulfill, but through selfless means also. So the third step means fulfill your desires through dharmic and selfless means, both to be taken into account. In other words, it's doing our dharma in the spirit of karma yoga. So what does this entail? So again, we look at the nature of those three desires: putreshana, vitteshana, and lokeshana. Putreshana, how do you raise a child in the spirit of karma yoga? You want a child, you want to be in a family, you want to be in that particular environment. How do you raise a child in the spirit of karma yoga? To raise a child in the spirit of karma yoga means that this child that was born through me is born through me and not from me. And it means that when I am raising this child, I'm thinking about what is the best way by which this child can evolve. What is the best thing that I can do so this child can grow? Not that this child, because I went to this school, this my child should go to this school. I ate this food, so my child should eat this food. I want to look good, so my child should dress this way. Many people raise their children with that attitude: I want my child to be like me. That is the most selfish thing, because our children should be better than us. Why should they be like us? It's so selfish. We're lowering the standard of the child when we say, be like me. If we want anyone to be like us, it is the most selfish thing in the world. We want them to be better than us. And whenever we look at that child, we say, what is it that I can give this child so this child can soar? Not that I want to keep my child with me. Also, pick this college so that you stay close to home. No. Where can my child benefit most? Where can my child learn most? Where can my child grow the most? That is where I offer my child. And it's not easy, because sometimes the child has to go through ups and downs. But as a parent, as a teacher, as a guide, we have to be there to watch that. So this means putreshana for a selfless means. Putreshana in terms of marriage and relationships. Marriage is not to be stuck together, husband and wife. It's to help each other go beyond each other. Is to take each other through moksha, to moksha. So marriage is something that is very sacred. It's a very divine union. And it can be so if both help each other to go beyond each other to the realm of enlightenment. So it's not that I want you to be stuck with me, look at me, attached to me. No, I want you to go higher. I want you to grow, and we can grow together. That is what it's for. Next is vitteshana. How do we make this more selfless? Wealth is something that can be shared through charity, through starting an organization, through even giving. Some companies, if you buy one shoe, they donate one shoe to places where they don't have many shoes. If you buy one sock, they donate a pair of socks, like that. So companies wherein there is an amount given to charity, or companies that start their own organizations, or companies that give to spiritual organizations. But it's not that I'm just working for me and for my family. I realize now that I am a contributor to the world, and I also need to give, and I also need to expand. And this feeling comes And therefore, I become more selfless with all of that. Location, fame and name. So if someone has good name, good fame, what they can do is use that to be an ambassador or to stand for something. Like many famous people will be ambassadors in the UN to stand for world hunger, to stand for education rights, to stand or to fight against HIV. Use that name and fame for something positive, for a positive outreach, or use that talent, share it with others. So many athletes will coach children, will help children develop their talent. It is sharing what you have, sharing your name, your fame, your ability with those who may need it, those who would like it, those who are inspired by it. So, and instead of saying that you want to be famous, you bring the whole society up. So in this particular step, it's not just about bringing ourselves up, it's bringing the whole society, the whole community up with us. In fact, it's like we get lost in them. So it's bringing the whole world up with us. So those desires, what really happens to them is they become sublimated. They become sublimated into something greater and bigger, so much so that I lose myself in it. I lose myself in my company. I lose myself in my family, in my community, in Chinmaya Mission. The desires get sublimated, and I no longer identify with myself. If somebody says Chinmaya Omkara is doing really well, I'm so happy because I am Chinmaya Omkara. I'm not myself anymore. So with this, the seeker's mind, one really becomes a seeker rather, because the mind becomes purer. It becomes more expansive. The likes and dislikes, they diminish, and those desires, they do get sublimated. So this is a very amazing way to deal with these desires that we have. And this is what Gurudev says, exhaust those desires through selfless action, through a selfless attitude and vision. Now, after all of this happens, and we do this for a great amount of time, and we lose our individuality to a certain extent, another desire or another set of desires come, and they are called these divine desires. So this is the fourth step now, divine desires, okay? And third and fourth step, they can come, third can come first, fourth can come first, or fourth can come first, third can come first. They're interchangeable. I have these divine desires. And what are these divine desires? Divine desires are desires to better oneself, self-development, to make ourselves better, to be better people, to be more responsible citizens, to be better Hindus, better seekers. There's that desire that, you know what, I want to improve who I am. Because there's that realization that upon improving myself, everything else transforms, everything else improves. Then there's the desire also to do a lot of sadhana. So people will want to wake up earlier, want to exercise, or people will want to do Bhagavat Saptaha, or Mahamrityunjaya mantra chanting like you all are doing, or people will want to do Japa mantra Purashcharana. They want to do whole Purashcharana, for example, Om Namah Shivaya. So 5 syllables, 5 lakh Om Namah Shivaya they will want to do. So they want to really themselves so pure and so noble through the path of sadhana. Or sometimes they will have the desire to study more. So desire for study groups, to desire to listen to Vedantic talks, desire to discuss with people, to read more, to memorize verses. A desire also to be in bhakti, to sing, to invoke the grace of the divine, to revel in that. A desire to be in satsang. Now so many people are so happy, in fact, with COVID, because there's so much access to satsang that people really like it, because they can just come into any channel, and then they just can have satsang for so long, and they can discuss, they can be with each other, and it's never been easier. There's the desire to serve the community, become more expansive in whatever way help is needed, in whatever area. There's a desire to give. I want to give, I want to serve, I want to just be an instrument, I want to make things happen, I want to help. I want to help. And these are really noble desires. This comes to a seeker the slightly later stages of life, after all these selfish desires have been exhausted. Then one will ask, is there something more after this? After all of these noble desires start to come, what happens next in this desire movement? What happens next in this desire movement is step number 5, which is the desire for the self. So step number 1 was we do have desires, but we have to give up fulfilling those desires in adharmic ways. Step 2 is fulfill those desires in dharmic ways. Okay. Step 3, fulfill those desires in dharmic and selfless ways. Step 4 is entertain divine desires, which will come. They will automatically come to us. And entertain them. Let them come. The 5th one is the desire for the self, which is called mumukshutva. Now, the day that this comes, know that we have entertained the most noble of all desires, and that is the desire of the self. That is called mumukshutva, desire for the self. And it is so funny to desire something that we already are, but as I said, we are ignorant of our real nature. We're not able to absorb it. So we do desire what we already are. And what is this mumukshutvam? Mukshutvam is not only a desire for the self, but Gurudev says it's a burning desire for the self. So it's not only I want the self, I want to realize the self, because many people don't have this desire. Many people don't have this desire at all. It's a burning desire for the self. How does this burning desire for the self come about? It comes about through the feeling of bondage. It's so funny, right? But this burning desire for the self comes through bondage. The problem is we don't feel we are bound. We don't feel we're in bondage. There's a beautiful saying that a happy slave is the worst enemy of freedom. Because a happy slave is never going to want to be free. So what happens is, very subtly in the Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 14, it says, even sattva binds you. Even sattva binds you. Because even in our noble pursuits of desire for bhakti and satsang and swadhyaya, etc., very noble. But sometimes we can get caught up in all of this that we fail to see the desire for the self, because we don't feel bound. We don't feel bondage. If we really felt bondage, then we would desire to be free. But if we don't feel bound, if we don't feel limited, if we don't feel like this is not it yet, then we will not seek the self. What state are we in right now? We are comfortably in bondage, oh bondage. And some of us don't even want to examine this bondage. That's the worst part. We're comfortably in bondage and we don't even want to examine this bondage. What is this bondage and why am I feeling this way? No, let's just eat dal, chawal, pakora and let's forget about it. Sometimes that deep question will come. What is the self? Should I pursue the self? No, forget about it. Let's do something else. So we don't feel that feeling of bondage. Therefore, the desire for being free or the desire for the self won't come. It won't come. And if at all it comes in 3 levels. What we call first is Atimanda means very low desire for the self. Means if I get liberated in this life, fine. If I don't get liberated, fine. It's okay. I don't need to get liberated. And sometimes this is where we're at. It's the truth. If I get liberated, okay. If I don't get liberated, okay. But I'm not going to put forth effort. It's Atimanda. Next level is Manda. Manda, dull. I know, I have to put forth effort towards moksha. I know, every time we're in study group, it says moksha, moksha, moksha. But right now, I have other things to pursue. You know, I have my career, I have my family, I have other things I want to do. I know it's supposed to be moksha. It's in the back of my mind somewhere. But right now, I have other more important things. And this person, good luck. Because this person will come back lives after lives after lives because it's only manda mumukshutva. Nothing will happen with manda mumukshutva. Again, we'll come back and come back because we haven't realized the importance of the desire for the self. Then, little higher is what we call madhyama mumukshutva. Madhyama mumukshutva means I'm like a pendulum. Yes, I want moksha, but I'm enjoying this world. Yes, I want moksha, but I'm enjoying this world. Yes, I want moksha, but, I'm swinging back and forth. Maybe or no, maybe or no. I don't know. I don't know if it's what I want. I'm not sure. It's back and forth, back and forth. The top class mumukshutvam is Tivra mumukshutva, wherein I've examined this world. Pariksha lokan, karmachitan. I've examined this world and I've understood nasti akrita kritena, that whatever I want, I'm not going to get in this world. Whatever I desire, I'm not going to get in this world. That never ending, that permanent happiness, that bliss, that fulfillment that I really desire, I'm not going to get from this world. Therefore, I want moksha. I want moksha and there's nothing else that I want. This is the only thing I want and that's it. I'm done. This is called Tivra mumukshutva. This kind of person that has Tivra mumukshutva, this kind of person will get liberated here and now. Because the desire is that much. You see, in life, our effort matches our desire. It's true with every single thing. So if the desire is very small, effort is very small. Okay, I'll do it. The desire is medium, effort is medium. But if it's something that you and I want, then, oh my goodness, all of the effort will be there. And you and I know this because in our lives, when we have really wanted something, nobody could stop us. Nobody could stop us. We went all the way till the end. Google Maps. You desire to go to a place, isn't it? I want to go to this person's house. Then what will we do? We will follow every single instruction. Turn right here. turn left here. At the roundabout, make the second exit. Every single thing we will follow. Why we want to go to that person's house? For this we have tivra mumukshutvam. We want to go to someone's house. The mumukshutvam is so tivra. But for the self, that mumukshutvam is not so tivra. It's either it's madhyama, it's swinging back and forth, or it's manda, I want it, but I just have so many things going on, or it is atimanda. If it comes, it comes, but it's not tivra. Tivra means this is the only thing that I want, and that's it. That is called tivra mumukshutva, the desire for the self. And that's where we have to reach. And this tivra mumukshutvam, please don't think that we have to leave our house and go somewhere and do something else. Not necessarily. Where we are right here and now, we can still pursue the truth. Wherever we are, that's where we're meant to grow right now, and we can pursue the truth in our day-to-day lives. And this is the most noble desire. Now, how does this mumukshutvam come about? How to cultivate it? That we will see tomorrow. So what is this mumukshutvam? How to cultivate it? What if I don't have it, but I want to have it? We will see how to cultivate it. We will see what the effect of it is. And tomorrow we will also see what happens. What happens after we desire the self intensely? What's the aftermath? So I will just summarize today so that it becomes very clear in all of our minds. The first point is desire is a thought. It's a thought. It's a thought of the nature of I want. This is the nature of the thought. And this desire belongs to the mind and not to the self. And because it's only there when the mind is there. And when the mind is not there, like in deep sleep, it's not there. Therefore, desire belongs to the mind, not to the self. If I get this point, I'm done. No need to go further. But we don't get it. We don't get it. And therefore, we have to go through all of this analysis. How does this desire come? Desire comes because I see happiness in something. I will never desire something that makes me sad. Nobody desires something that makes them sad. I see happiness in something. Why is it that I see happiness in something? Why do I see that makes me happy? The deeper meaning is because I give reality to it. It's so real and alive for me. So therefore, it makes me happy. And because it's so real and alive, I want it. But the thing is, actually, it's real for me because I forget that this whole world is actually an illusion. It's a superimposition. It's a projection on me, the self. So how can I even want what I already am? It's the most ridiculous thing ever. I am wanting what I, because I don't understand. So I am ignorant of the self. Therefore, I take this world to be real. When I take this world to be real, I see happiness in the world, sorrow in the world. Therefore, whatever makes me happy, I want. What is the effect of this desire? The effect of this desire is manifold. Desire pushes us into action. It pushes us into action after action after action after action, and it wears us out. And whenever there's an action, there's a result of action. And when there's a result of action, I have to go through that. I have to go through that birth experience. I have to go through that event because I wanted it. And if we ask ourselves, why are we where we are today? It's because you desired it. That's why. We have given Bhagavan our blueprints, and Bhagavan is just building according to that. We desired it. That's why we're here. So there's nobody to blame. It says so clearly in the Upanishads that we follow our desires, and our desires are the nimitta. They are the factor to our birth after birth after birth. But one who is content and free from desires, here itself, they are liberated. How do these desires express? In three forms. Putreshna, desire for progeny, relationships, family. Vitteshna, desire for wealth, power. Lokeshana, desire for name and fame. What do? Desires are there. Fine, no worries. 5-step process, the Shastra says. You take those desires and give up fulfilling desires by adharmic means. Do it without hurting anybody, stepping over anybody, cheating on someone, or lying to somebody. Step 2, fulfill those desires by dharmic means. You want to go through it? Fine. Do it through dharma. Third step, not only dharmic means, expand oneself a little bit more also, so that more people benefit and one becomes purified, the ego becomes sublimated. I start to identify with totality. After that, what happens? Fourth step, divine desires, noble desires start to come in the mind, which is the most beautiful thing. Desire for satsang, for seva, for swadhyaya, desire to serve, desire to just be in devotion. All of these wonderful desires come. Entertain them fully. After all of this, the fifth one is the desire for the self, or what we call mumukshutva. This desire arises, and this is the most noble of all desires to entertain. So today we will stop here and we will continue further tomorrow. Okay? So now I think if there are any questions, you can ask. And if there's none, that's okay also.
Thank you for a wonderful discourse, Amma. Thank you very much. And if any of you have questions, you can unmute yourself and ask the questions. And we have a few minutes. Well, I'll start with a question. I have one for myself. And you describe the categories of people. And I think I fall into the category of Atimanda. Now, what is the way to grow from Atimanda to Manda? A small step.
So that will come tomorrow, but I can give you a preview, is to surround ourselves with sadhus, or people who are on the path. Sadhu Sangama. You see, when we are around people in the path, they are very inspiring. They don't, just by their mere life, we want to start being like them. And surrounding ourselves with Sadhu Sangama is not only a live person. If we have a live person in front of us, that's very wonderful. But it can also be through books, through audio, through talks. If we surround ourselves with that, automatically, we will feel, hey, I want to become better. I want to walk on this path. I want to go further. Automatically, this kind of feeling will come. If you ask me if I ever wanted to realize God, I mean, I had that desire. I did, but not very deep. But until when I, lived with Swamiji in Chennai, then that desire became quite strong. because then you see you're living with someone who's living in God, and you see how their life is, and it's so completely inspiring, you know. And that's how Puja Gurudev also inspired everyone. Just by his life, you wanted to be like him.
Yes,
So,
I want to follow up with that question with another question. If any of you want to ask questions, go ahead. Otherwise, I'll ask.
but Uncle G, can I see you so that I can make sure that everything is
I'm Subbarao Majeti.
okay? Okay.
Now, you see, the idea is to walk a path, but when we are starting the journey, walking towards the goal, we do not understand or see the goal itself. Without having the goal in our vision or in our mind, or, or any understanding of the goal at all, how what inspires us to walk the path, to start the path, without any understanding of the goal in total.
So that's why you have to surround yourself with people who have reached the goal, or who are even closer to the goal. Maybe not necessarily people who have reached the goal, but closer to the goal or towards the goal they're walking. Because we will see when we surround ourselves with them, they're very uplifting, peaceful, cheerful. Their life is very full and whole. So, yes, I might not have the picture of the goal. I might not know the goal. I might not know anything about the goal. But you know what? I know someone who's walking towards the goal. And the very fact that their lives are so transformative, what must it be like for the one who has reached the goal? Right? So in and within our satsang, within our community, there are people who are walking towards the goal. There are people who are closer towards the goal. So let me surround myself with them. That is a must. And I would say also, read the lives of saints and sages. That is one thing that I love to do, because you just get so incredibly inspired.
Thank you.